Hello, everyone. This is Kyla from Hidden Gems Literary Emporium, your family owned nonprofit community bookstore. And today on Ask the Author, we have Optimum Vizhan, who is the author of this book, Hell and Back, which is available and on display here at Hidden Gems Literary Emporium. Mr. Vizhan is joining us all the way from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're happy to have you here. One funny comment about your name.
Uh-oh.
Every time I see Optimum, I think about my internet bill.
No.
But Optimum, maybe I shouldn't think about my internet bill. I should think about Optimum. That's Optimum is a word that describes the best possible outcome that can happen, right? Optimum, like
Yeah,
optimum.
yeah, yeah.
Optimum opportunity. And then vision, I think about that superhero named Vision. Do you know that superhero named Vision? He has the dot right here.
Oh, yeah, vaguely, but yeah.
The Marvel character. So thank you for your time today.
My pleasure.
Okay. Um, let's start by you introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about you and who you are, and telling us the inspiration behind this book, Hell and Back.
Who I am. That goes along with the book. My mother and father were work hard, play hard. And I said, Dad, why do you work so hard and play so hard? It's so that, well, that way you can sleep hard. And and it made a lot of sense, So I just learned a lot from him. So a lot of him and my parents is who I am. But the core of me is very interested in coming up with uh the vision, so that civilization can move in a more positive, enriching way. And I think that's probably why I was fortunate to have that environment growing up in the 60s and the 70s. It was untainted. I mean, they worked hard, and then the next minute you're on a beach, either making sandcastles or doing inner tubing, skiing, or fishing, or sitting around the campfire, and you're trying to shove how many marshmallows you can in your mouth, because we would play Chubby Bunny, and then you put a marshmallow in your mouth and you'd have to say Chubby Bunny. And every time, and if you could say the word Chubby Bunny, then, you won, because nobody else could. Well, I got up to, and I'm not bragging, but I got up to 16 marshmallows, and that that's what everybody, the same look they gave me. There was like 8
That's a
people
lot.
around there, and they're going, no way. But that just highlights the moment of seeing that synergy of just, like, I saw what my mom and dad was. I was able for somehow to harness it, be myself, and allow it to shine through as well. And then as the 80s and the 90s, early 2000s comes in, I'm thinking, wow, we lost this. I'm sure there's probably a small percentage out there, I mean, as far as civilization. So that's, an Optimum Vision is more of like, on the premise of see more. If I see more, I live more. So if my vision is down to 1, I'm only going to see 1. My options are only 1. But if I can see 10, then now I got 10 options. That's the core of it. I got to shut up.
No, you're doing what? I pause so I can write that down. You said if I see more, I what?
I live more.
That's
The
right.
more I see, the more I live. And
Mm-mm-mm.
that's where the Optimum Vision is. So I see out, and again, I'm not tooting my horn, but I see out 1,000 years.
Wow.
Okay. And it's the mindset of not me because I'm special, but just that dynamic individually, when I apply it to myself, I'm living for 1,000 years. It automatically sets the tone on how I should go about, well, I should find things, to love my passion. Even if it takes me 30, 40 years, I'm going to do it because I'm going to be around for a while. So just having that as an end goal and then working backwards, I'm not in this rush. I'm not too fast. Well, this looks like my best option. I'm going to have to go with it. I settle a lot when I think I'm going to die when I'm 80 years old. I'm
That's
done.
true.
I'm
No,
done.
and what you're saying is absolutely true. And when we put a cap on our lives, like, I'm only gonna live till I'm 60 because so and so lived until they're 60, or I'm only gonna live till I'm 80 because so and so lived, and then you start approaching that age. Now you're in the mindset of dying. And so what does that do to your physical health, or your, like you're talking about, your vision, your outlook on
Sets me up. Yeah.
setting yourself up for failure, right? When you think like that. That's deep. Um, okay, so this book is set up interview style, which we love because we're journalists. Let's talk about that. Your decision to do that and why you produced this book as an interview between you and your father.
Uh, my dad met my mother at the free movies back in the day. She was 13. He was like 16. He didn't plan on seeing her, but he did, and everything just fell together. And he had to get her her father's permission, to marry her at 17 because he was pulled off into Korea. They have this life that I kind of highlighted before, and then she passes away, and I could just see him shutting down mentally because that's all he knows. I mean, he did other things, but I'm saying as far as core life was that connection with her. And it was almost like they were like yin and yang automatically. When he build homes, they would build homes together, and as a child, I would transition from one home to the other. He had a full-time job, and he'd come home and do this. He would do the foundation, the framework. She would do the finishing. It was like they were an Olympic team, reading each other's mind and just doing it with precision. And then when Friday come, and if it was summer, boom, stop, go up north, have fun like nothing other matters. Well, anyways, I see him shutting down, and it just tore me up. So we're playing pool. I says, Dad, let's write a book on your life. I mean, you got so much in your life. It could be a real super cool movie of inspiration to people. No, do that when I'm gone. Wow, that's pretty heavy. So then, to make it shorter version here because of the time, I just said, Dad, I just made up my mind. Dad, now, if you were going to write a book on your life, what would you call it? And he would say, Hell and Back, just like that. I go, boy, that was fast. I says, okay, so why do you want to call your book Hell and Back? Well, because I was in 2 wars. And he was just right out. There was no hesitation. And he says, well, I was in 2 wars. I was one with Korea and one with wife. And we just kind of like busted out laughing. We were playing pool at the time. We had to stop playing pool because that's his favorite pastime. We're like professional slot pool players. We don't care about the rules. We just have fun. And the shots are like, oh, that was cool. But then we had to put our sticks down, and I sat down, and I just like, wow. I was fortunate enough to see that change in him just come alive. And I don't know how long he had to live, but I'm thinking, to pass his days without his sweetheart, his movie sweetheart around anymore, this is how we're going to do it. So we took that fall going into winter and went through a whole of winter. And we just, wherever I was, he liked to eat out like Subway or something just to get it out. But, he didn't want to be out, but he wanted to be. So one time when we were going to go there to eat, I put the manuscript journal on top of the car, and we're just talking. Forgot about it. I pull out of his driveway, and I'm hauling down the road. Yeah, didn't think of it at the time. And I'm going, where's Sherman? And he goes, what do you mean? I go, oh no, I left it on the top. So I turn right around, go back there. It's in the middle of the road, busy road, 2-lane highway each side. And boom, somebody had ran over it. I says, Dad, that's way too cool. Even the manuscript's been through hell.
That is funny. So did it get ruined or were you able to preserve it?
Yeah, it got ruined, but it wasn't ruining, like it wasn't really bad. It wasn't wet and muddy, kind. So it was like just enough to think, wow, this is meant to be, because this could have been trash really bad. And I wanted to keep that genuineness of that moment, because each moment was not only closure, but it was real and enriching, because I had the honor and privilege of asking him why he was alive. And that meant even more to me.
Wow.
You're gonna make me cry.
What was it like interviewing your dad? Was this entire interview one sitting? I imagine maybe a couple different times, maybe random times, maybe scheduled times, maybe just anytime. What was that process like?
Anytime, best time. See, I would have a full-time job, so I would do that. Come home, walk my dog, go over and hang out with him for 1 to 2 hours, because he was living by himself. And it was over a period of about 3 months, 4 months, each setting. The book was bigger, but for legal reasons, I had cut out 15 pages, which is funny because when I gave it to him, he says, well, I want to be able to read this in just one setting. A couple hours, I can sit down and read it. Well, then me cutting out them extra 15 pages, it made it faster, just like he wanted, which is very ironic. But a lot of settings, juicy. Everyone is just packed with revelation, and it just blew my mind out. There's no way what it got. One time I was just kind of going through the notes and adding his stuff, writing his stuff, and he just, at the table, he just knocks out. I'm doing this, and just letting him take his nap. And about a half hour later, this is Dave. Then I went and asked him a question on. He came around, and it was like he was listening all the time. I mean, he was almost like snow zone, and he just started saying, I said, how, Dad? And he just kind of, you could have left Mom anytime. Why? Why did you, how did you love her that long? He says, I didn't realize how much I loved her until I learned how to love her unconditionally. When I learned to love her unconditionally, then I found out how much I really loved her. And I go, wow, that is deep. So your love has been unconditional all along, but you never really spoke it. Yes. Stuff like that. So that's why it took so long to write it, is because he was actually, it was almost like sitting in front of a Tibetan monk, revealing all of the secrets of life to me. And I was just soaking it up, wanted to go home. I had to go to the bathroom, but not now. This stuff is precious kind of moments.
Yeah, I relate to that because when we talk to elders, we feel the same way. Like if we have to go to the bathroom, it kind of has to wait because this is very important. They just have so much wisdom just from being on this earth and living and growing, making mistakes. And elders are always willing to share their mistakes with you. And they're our favorite people to talk to are between 70 and 90 years old, because they have the best stories and life lessons.
And they're so organic too, real, genuine. You know they were actually there. Yep. That was
Mm.
my favorite pastime. Whenever there was an old person in the room and they seemed to be, quiet, 'cause nobody was around, I'd sit over there and start asking them like too many questions.
And we're the same way. We always do that. And I always preface by saying, "Can I ask you a question?" Like just one. And then it always goes into just more and more, and I'm just enthralled by whatever it is they have to tell me. It could be anything, but it's always so compelling, like you said. So and I just flipped open to this picture, and I also love how you included family photos, and also thank you, sir, and also references in the back. I love a good index. What was the process like of picking the photos that you would include in this very special book?
Wow. Especially when his wife passed, it's like he was going through the photo albums and just putting them all over his house. I mean, he'd stick them in a windowsill, he would stick them on the table. If there was a picture, he would put it in in the frame between the glass and the frame, and it was just like all over these pictures. So I actually just went around the house with him and said, "Okay, this is your book, Dad. Um, what are the pictures you would love to have in it to, cover your life that meant a lot to you?" And so it was like a super arm privilege.
The first one is a picture of, it says, "Me at third from left with my seven siblings." And the story about him being born was quite funny too. I don't want to talk about it because I want people to come in and read it, but it was quite comical. And your dad is a twin, which is also cool. You have a picture, and I'm not showing all the pictures because, again, I want people to come in and see. There's a picture of his mom with him and his twin sister. And then there's a picture of him with his sweetheart. And then the last one I really love, me reflecting on life after my wife's passing of a little more than a year and a half afterwards. I love that photo. Mm.
Yeah, that photo was like a healing photo because he wasn't that at peace, but going through that book process, we were pretty well done at that moment. And him just looking out, you could see him like he had the satisfaction that he actually documented. He was so honored himself to go through that life kind of feel. So yeah. And he would talk about, he was so, him and his twin, they're so connected that when it came ice skating, that, even though they're on a farm and stuff, they really didn't have a lot of resources. They just had one pair of skates. So she would put one skate on one foot and he'd put the other skate on the other foot, and they'd put their arms around each other and they would skate on their ice pond in the wintertime.
Children don't do that anymore. They're missing out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And
They
hopefully,
need to share a pair of skates because that sounds pretty fun. It sounds more fun than having your own pair of skates. Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. I think what you've done with this book is quite amazing, and I think it is. I'm trying to think of the right word to describe what you've done for primarily, of course, your father. And it's like you saw that your father needed something, but of course you can't replace the love of his life. But you saw that he needed something, and you took it upon yourself to do something about it. That from and I don't know your dad, but just looking at this photo, um it seems as though, yes, the caption is exactly what it looks like, me reflecting on life after my wife's passing, but he doesn't seem sorrowful. I actually feel like in the picture he's looking forward to something still. And it's funny that you said this was taken when you just finished the book, because it looks like that in this photo.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is a really big deal for not even just for your family, but I think it's a huge example and statement as to what we can all do for the elders in our family, and what we should all do, and the steps that we should take to preserve our family history, because it's very important. Once you write something and publish it, it is now a part of literary history for generations to come.
Yeah, that is powerful. Having that connection of actually bonding the generations in a more enriching, satisfying way. I mean, there's things that we can do and we have done, but actually taking time to write it and then be able to publish it is a deeper commitment in not really wanting to bling it up, but just keep it earthy and organic, because that that's what life, the fam on the planet, who I am. We all hunger for earth, organic relationship with our parents and our children. And it just,
Right.
you know,
You're absolutely
I,
right.
I think we're going to come to that. I think it'll be a transition. You know, we're fortunate enough to be in this transition, and our routines are easy and they help us. They're predictable in meeting certain goals. But I think we've gone through that so much, and it might be just me because I'm 62, but it just feels like as a society or civilization in general, we feel satisfied. We don't feel, we feel something's lacking, even though I might have everything. And it's that family experience in an organic way, in a very earthy way. And I think we're going to get it back. It might be a little like a roller coaster, but I think people like you and me, to say we're the only ones on the planet, but people like us are going to now look, I've got all the time in the world. Right now, I might not feel like it. That's my mind. I got all the time in the world. And as time goes on, this is what I'm going to do with my family or an individual family member. And it's going to be more of a genuine, it's not we don't talk about the spirit that much more. It's more, I did this, I did that, I did this. But and them all require might, and they're important, but I think we've got away from allowing the spirit of unconditional love work with us as friends in manifesting something of a little bit of a glimpse of what my mom and dad had, or anybody's parents have had in that type of love relationship. So we are actually pioneers in doing something new and refreshing. And doors will open for us because our mind is just open for it. Don't know how it's going to happen, but I got a really strong feeling, even though the kids aren't having a really, they have their own fun in their own way, but they feel kind of disconnected too. And so it's kind of like creation is crying out, hungry for that connection again, even though they might not know it or feel it. They're emanating it. And this is why, after my dad's passing, writing the book and just allowing that to bring closure in my own life, I thought, you know what? Don't know how, but I'm willing, even though like even this Zoom is kind of awkward for me at this moment, but I am. I'm going to allow that awkwardness just to happen and flow with it because it's time. It's time for a message that heals, restores, and unites the family structure, the family experience.
I gotta write that one. Heals, restores, and unites the family experience. Yes, yes, that is that is a theme, or the theme, one of the themes, and the reasons why we even started this effort, because there used to be story time, and there used to be, let's all gather around the table and talk about our day. Let's all read a book. Let's all play a game. Let's all put on one skate and go skating and hold each other and hold hands. And so, our prayer is that there's many ways that we can heal, restore, and unite the family experience. But we're praying that, books can be one way to do that, So and your book is a cool, we'll call gem for families to do that. So let's say everybody gets a copy of this book and we have a little at-home book club. And then maybe we'll be inspired, like, we should interview grandma and grandpa. And we should, yeah, we should. And you never know, once a seed is planted,
Amen.
people water it, you don't know what can grow from it. So I love that you said that.
Amen. Amen. And that's just like you said, your curiosity when there's an elderly person in the room, you're drawn. You probably, at least I sit around for just a month, just to kind of get the feel of the atmosphere where they're at. And then a question will pop in my head, and then I'll ask it, just like they come right alive. And just experience, I'm like, wow, that was healing in itself. That, and I just, wow, I was just, yep, good stuff.
There was this one time we were passing out food and someone says, "Can you take me to my grandmother's house? I need to get something real quick." It was right up the road. So I said, "Okay, Ray, I'm gonna go take this young lady, blah, blah, blah." So I go inside. She says, "You want to meet my grandmother?" I said, "Yes." So we go in there, and the grandmother's daughter was there. And sometimes when there's an elderly person and the daughter, they may be losing a little patience with them, or there might be some hostility or whatever like that. So I go in there and I'm feeling the hostility, and she's bickering at her mom or whatever. And so I just sit down next to the grandmother. I'm just sitting there. And she says something that speaks directly to my life situation at the time. She said, she looks at me and she says, "Don't let anyone tell you what you can or cannot be." When I was 17, I told my mom I wanted to be this. And she said, "No, I couldn't be that." And you know what I told her? I said, "What?" She said, "Well, I'm going to do it anyway." And I left the house. And it was a real quick 30-second story. And I was like, "Oh, that just happened to me like 2 days ago." And so now just listening, and she told me the same story the same way about 3 times, and every time she told them, I'm on the edge of my seat, even though I know what she's gonna say next. I'm just like, "And then you left the house and you told her," but this conversation is making me think about that woman and how
That is precious.
yeah,
Wow.
she was
Yeah.
precious. She was precious. Yeah. Oh, and then this is how the scene ends. So
Oh,
the daughter is telling me, yeah, she runs away sometimes. She wants to leave, blah, 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 blah. And then she's looking at me, right? And then she whispers, she says, "Watch this." And she gets up and walks towards the door. And the daughter says, "Where are you going?" And she turns around, she says, "I know where I'm going." She keeps walking. I'm like, "You better go ahead, grandma. You know where you're going. That's right." But yeah, that was funny. But I know as caregivers and things, sometimes it might be difficult, but we have to remember to heal, restore, and unite the family experience. And our elders in our family, when they get older, it's not a time for them to feel more and more depressed and lonely. "Oh, my kids, they think I'm a pain. Oh, my grandkids don't come and visit me." That's not a way for them to live. We need to put our elders on a pedestal and record their lives and remember them and pass it down so that your father's, what would it be, great grandchildren or great great grandchildren can read this book, because sometimes it's so easy for our family history to get lost if we don't preserve it in ways like this. It's easy for it to be like, "I don't even know who my great grandfather is. I don't even know who that person is." So I want to thank you for doing this and for reminding me, because me and Ray have been saying this for about the
oh.
past 2 years. We need to interview
They,
Grandma. We need to go over there and just interview her, because she has all these great stories. We need to write down her stories. Here is a perfect example as to why. And so thank you.
you are so welcome. Thank you. Again, honor and privilege to be in this setting with you and connect. And just a thought. Now, when we do that, it gets us back to the roots that we always used to do that. The industrialized world has just got us looking at one little shiny object to another, and we have more options than we could even imagine of having, and it's preoccupied us so much that we actually forgot our roots. That's where it really is. And with that might help start that, might be the synergy that starts that process back again. And now, we look out into the future and we see, I'm not really writing books, we're actually just living it. And maybe I'm not in much of need, because I have that need filled in my family, enriching experience. Not have a thing. I couldn't believe, when we did have things, how my mom and dad still was resourceful with what they had. Might have to take a little different path, but we still had an enriching fun moment that just lasts a lifetime. It just blows my mind away. So yes, thank you again. I could go talk for maybe a couple more days with you, but
I know. And there are a couple people that we've interviewed that I always have to say, okay, we're gonna wrap this up because we could just talk for 2 hours and we're not gonna do that. The last time that happened was last night. And
oh,
so last question though, let
okay.
where can people connect with you online? Let's say they read the book and they want to tell you how much they love it, or they want to ask a question or anything like that. What is the best way for readers to connect with you?
Wow, that would be through the Book Trail Agency. They're
Okay.
crafting a website for me now. I don't have the the web name in front of me right now, but they're currently building a website so that people can go on there and ask questions, find out more about me, because they might not have a chance to find this interview, but they might find the conversation or your bookstore, that books in and saying, hey, and supposedly they're about maybe 70-80% done. So
Okay.
my bad, I don't have that resource right now, but
That's okay.
we will
Everything
have.
happens in its time. When you get the link, just let us know so that we can include it. And this video will be on our
Okay.
YouTube channel and also our website. So anybody
Oh,
watching this video, if you go on hiddengemsliteraryemporium.com, you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see something that says Hidden Gems of the World. And your video will be there. Nonprofit community bookstore and get you a copy of this book, Hell and Back by Optimum Vision. We all need optimum vision in our lives. Wouldn't you say so?
wow. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's when my life started turning around, when I was looking deeper and farther out.
Mm. Ah,
Thank you.
don't let me get started on a conversation about looking deeper, and we have to wrap this up.
Okay.
So you live in Michigan. Michigan.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
west from New Jersey, right? We do 1,000 free book tours across the country. And so this year, this July, we are going from New Jersey to Florida. And our goal is to set up, well, if you go on our website, you'll see our goal. We have a
Okay.
fundraiser up for a free mobile library, which is a Class A RV converted into a library. And we're super excited about it. And just like you said, sometimes you have a goal and you don't know how you're going to get there, but you just go there and you get there. That is our literal life in Hidden Gems just experience. Like this bookstore started with a prayer in a van outside of a bookstore that was being mean to us. And 4 weeks later, we have the largest event period in New Brunswick, New Jersey. There was 500 people at our grand opening here in this place where you see right here. And
Wow.
so, and that's one of the thousands of testimonies. I can go out tell you all these anyway. So why did I bring that up? Oh, because next year we're going from New Jersey to California. And so we're going to be
Oh,
setting up different events and, pop-ins on authors along the way who've had
okay.
bookstores that have made an impact on our lives. And we're also looking for sponsors to purchase X amount of books. So let's say we want 25 copies of Hell and Back. So the authors get paid because we want to help you guys make money. And then the people get to read the story for free. So it works out for everybody.
That is way, way cool.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I never heard of that. And then just the whole idea of traveling and connecting. That's so organic. Wow.
Thank you.
You're gonna
We're
make me want to get involved in that.
Please do. Please do. We want everybody to get involved. We want to do this worldwide. And actually, so what I say, next year is California. And so our goal is the year after that. So that's going to be 2024. We want to do New Jersey to Australia because we have about 6 or 7 authors from
Are you
Australia.
serious?
Yes, we have a lot of authors from Australia here in the store whose books are amazing. And we usually have interviews with them, like how you and I are chit-chatting right now. And so we build relationships with them, and they're all like, I don't want to mess up the accent, but they're always, you should come over to Australia. It's great over here. And I'm like, you know what? It would be cool to get in the RV, drive, pass out books, ferry over there, set up events at other, small bookstores, do book signings with all you guys. So stay in touch with us, please. And I want to
Oh,
encourage everyone
definitely no.
again to come by and get a copy of this book, Hell and Back by Optimum Vision. And we love you all for reading. Mr. Vision, we love you for writing and for, again, what you've done for all of us. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
Enjoy.
I have to say this before
Wait, let it out.
I could tell, how am I going to say this? The way that we think and feel and live has an effect on how we look in our vibrancy. And so if you would have never told me that you were 62, I would have never guessed. You
Oh, come on.
Your life.
Come on, girl.
I'm serious.
Thank you.
You're very
All
vibrant and just, bright.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
Priceless.
What'd you say?
Priceless. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, it goes back to looking out 1,000 years. I mean, if the interview's over, are we still?
We're still rolling, but I could cut it because I'm about to write down, look out 1,000 years. Do you want me to wrap this up so we can chit chat?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. We're going to chit chat with Mr. Optimum Vision. And please go on our website to learn more about the book and come on by. Oh, and if you give us a call, we would be happy to ship a copy of this book to your home because there are a lot of people who support us from all over the country and we love all you guys. So, all right. Bye. I'm ending this recording.